Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Fumilola Alex, and in this video today, I want to share with you how I met my husband, how God brought my husband to me, and how I knew he was the one. Before I go into the story, I want to give a background story. Like, I am this person that I am big on the issue of marriage. I know it is a defining aspect of my life. So I have always put the Lord first, prayed about anyone that comes my way. And I've always told the Lord that anytime, when is the right time for me to choose a partner, he should choose for me. And I don't want to go just picking and just getting married, because I know that marriage is a whole lot in you fulfilling destiny, in me fulfilling my destiny, fulfilling my purpose in life. So I've always told the Lord to lead me and to guide me, because I know that every aspect of my life is a concern to God, is interested in every part of my life, including my marital decision to my marital life and marital destiny. So now when my husband came, I want to share with you seven signs that made me to know that yes, this is the person. And the number one point is that there was a clear sign. There was a clear sign from God, because I have always asked God for a sign that when this person come, I want to know he is the one you have sent to me. I want to know he's the one that you have for me. So when he came, you know, few few months before he came to meet me, what happened was that his name just dropped into my heart. His name, and we are not in the same city, we're not in the same state. We've not even seen each other for a long time. He is my pastor actually, but then I was still in my final year in school, so we are not seeing. So his name dropped in my heart on that fateful day, and then I was wondering, why this person's name, Alex Akoni? Why? What happened? And then I don't know why the Holy Spirit dropped that name in my heart, but I knew that there was something to it. So I just began to pray in my spirit, even though I could not figure what exactly it was. So what happened next was that few months after, something led to something, and then he came to meet me. So it was when he came, and then he told me, God told him I am his wife. That he now began to tell me, his own encounter, how God spoke to him. And then it was about 6 months earlier before I even had that voice I told you I had in my heart, that is this person. So it was, he had known 6 months before that time. And he didn't speak to me, he didn't come to tell me anything. He was just praying to that God, if it's this lady, tell her yourself, convince her. I don't want to go and meet her and start saying story, and I don't want that. So if she's the one, convince her yourself. And the Holy Spirit actually convinced me. So when he came and he told me that, I was not mad at the fact that he said God told him I'm his wife, because I know that I've always tell God I want a clear sign. So a man coming to say, I am your wife, or God told me you are my wife, is not sounding strange to me. Of course, I know that some people have used God said to deceive lots of people, and that is why a lot of time we are concerned about hearing God said, God said. But the truth is that even though there might be what's it called now, there might be fake. Sometimes people have fake it and say God said when God did not say. It does not deny the fact that God actually speak. God is interested in your marital destiny, in my marital destiny, so he can speak to you. And also, it might not be spectacular, you might not hear a voice like mine, but there should be a clear sign from God. You should know in your spirit that this person is the one God have sent to you. And the book of Genesis chapter 24, 11 to 20, we saw the servant of Abraham, Eliezer. He asked God for a clear sign, and God gave him. He told God, any lady that comes to fetch water from this well, you know, and even offer to give our animals some water to drink, let it be the one you have sent to marry my master's son. And God granted his prayer. So Bible says, ask and it shall be given. So if you need a clear sign from God, ask what is it that you want. Now, don't make it like, it's not doesn't have to be like myself now. It wasn't like I had a voice, it was just a witness in my heart. His name dropped in my heart. And then I was wondering, what is this about? And then later it became clear. So you can ask God for a sign, and God works with different people in different ways. So know how God speaks to you. So that is my first point. Now to the second point is that when how I know that he was the one is that he went through the right channel. He went through the right channel. He didn't just come to meet me directly. I am a lady under authority, and I feel if you're a brother listening to me, a man listening to me, you know, if God has spoken to you that this a lady is your spouse, she's your wife, she's going to be your wife. Sometimes some ladies, some guys just go ahead to meet the lady, and they ruin the whole process. An easy way for you to do that is just for you to go through the right channel, which will be going through our pastor or going through our mentor or even going through our parents. Even before you inform her, if you are sure you have had God, you can go just go through the right channel. And that was what my husband did. He had knew 6 months earlier before I ever got to know. So he just went to meet my own pastor, and because we shared the same pastor too, I think that also made it easier. So he went to meet my pastor, and then he related what he have seen to him. And even though before then my husband already decided in his own heart that he was not going to date any lady in the church. He doesn't want to date any lady in the church. And we're in the same church also, but as God would have it, his wife still came out from the same church where he was. So he went to meet my pastor, and then he told him about it, and God just worked the remaining aspect out. So when is the right spouse, they will go through the right channel. Be careful of the guy that comes into your life and tell you, I don't want anybody to know yet. I've been in that situation before. It wasn't a relationship, so to say. I would call it a situationship because it was not defined. And this man came into my life and said, I don't want anybody to know about our relationship. Even though we were both under an authority that he should even tell the authority that, okay, this is what I intend to do. So what happened next was that there was a breakup, and it is that is what happened most of the time when you go into a relationship that is not going through the right channel. You will do yourself lots of good when you let the guy or the man now go through the right channel. Don't just accept proposal. Make sure you let your mentor know, let your spiritual parents know about it. Don't don't receive proposal in isolation. So let them know about it. Let him go through the right channel. Let him go through the stress. Let him go through it. It's so important for your own Is important for you as a lady. Let me just put it that way. So number three is that how I knew it was the one was that it felt right. I tell you, when it came into my life, there's this peace that it brought that made me feel like, yes, this is the person I have been waiting for. And even though we've not been so close in a relationship, like it has just been pastor and church member relationship. But when the relationship started, it was as if we've been on talking terms for years. It was like we've known each other for years, and we've been speaking to each other for years. The connection was quick, the chemistry was fast, everything just happened like it has always been like that. So that is one of the things that you should look out for. It will feel right. One is the person. They will align with your purpose. They will align with what God have called you to be. So I'm not wondering, is this person aligned? There was just alignment. I was just seeing a lot of alignment when it came into my life. So if there was a clear direction that, yes, this person is actually meant for me. Now the fourth point is that it will not feel awkward, right? When it came, there was no awkwardness, there was no shame, I was bold in his presence. We opened up to one another, we could relate to one another. There was no feeling of I'm shy in his presence. There was nothing like that. So when the right person comes into your life too, you should feel open with them. You should be open with each other. You should be able to tell each other about your past, about your present, about your future. You should feel safe in their presence, not just like the way Ruth felt safe when she was with Obed. Even though Ruth and Obed were not on the same pedestal, in the same caliber, Obed was a very high placed man. He was well known in the society, was rich. Even with that, Ruth still felt safe in his presence. Like it was that accommodating. It was not there to intimidate Ruth or make her feel any lesser. No, even though he was highly placed, Ruth felt safe. He made, we could see how he was treating Ruth with so much respect and with so much honor. And that is how it should be. And so when my husband came into my life, too, even though he was my pastor, he was older than me, he was, but there was no feeling of awkwardness. Even though at the start I was trying to, like, I didn't know how to go about, like, this is my pastor, but you know, before we knew it, we got into one another, and I felt safe in his presence. So I think one of the points you want to hold on to is that you will feel safe in his presence when it is God that has sent him to you. And then the number five says it is life giving. I tell you, it's a different kind of vibe when you are in a relationship with someone God have sent to you. You feel safe in their presence. It feels right. This is the person God have sent to you. It's life giving. I know there is life outside of romance, but when you're with the right person, there's a way. You just you're happy. People around you, they will notice that something is happening within you. They will know that something has happened to you. They will know that you've encountered something. They will know that something has changed in your life. It will be obvious. There will be reason to live again. There will be reason to be joyful, to sing, to dance. I'm not saying you will not be happy or joyful because you don't have a man or a lady yet in your life. I'm just saying that when they come, they bring with them this joy. There's this joy that comes along with it. So if that man is in your life and you're not happy, you're not joyful, it's causing you sadness, my dear, you want to check, is it God that has brought this person into your life? And then number six says that the sixth is that it will not feel rushed. Like there was no sense of rushing. The Bible says in First Corinthians 13 that love is patient, and we're not trying to rush into anything that is not of God, with sexual immorality or whatever. There was nothing like that. Even though there were, you know, instances whereby we felt okay. There's this chemistry among us because this person, you love the person, you're attracted to them, your body wants to have them, but we know that we can't do that. We know that it's against the rule of God. And to easily sin against God, we also mean that we can easily sin against one another, right? So if God says marriage is honorable, the bed undefiled, that means it is for our good, even as children of God. So there was no sense of rushing. We know when it was about time for us, we know that, okay, we are meant for one another, to be married to one another. We approach our pastor, we would like to get married. We approach our parents, we would like to get married. So Bible says it is better to marry than to born. So if you're in a relationship with someone, instead of burning, instead of, your courtship should not be an eternal one. That there is no definite, okay, we are going to court for so period. And then before courtship starts, you people should have the intention of marriage and should be convinced about one another. So there was no feeling of rush. It wasn't rushing me, unlike previous relationship that I've gotten myself into, whereby the man will be pressuring you for sex, and then you're wondering why are you pressuring me for sex? Can't we wait? Is it like you just want to have me and just go away? So he wasn't pressuring me for sex. He understands that we needed to wait, and you understand that with time things will happen with time. So he understood that, and that made it even more enjoyable. That made it more, it made it more fun. So when we got married, of course, the rest is history. So when it's the right person that God has sent to you, it should not pressure you into having sex or sinning against God. It is very, very important. And to the last point is that when God sends you your spouse, there will be peace. Bible says in Philippians chapter 4, verse 7. You say, okay, let me read what I have here. Is how do you know when God sends you your husband? As mentioned above, the biggest indication of how God leads you to your spouse is peace. When it came, there's this prayer I used to pray that God, if this, anytime I'm in any relationship at all, I tell God, if it's this man is not the one you have for me to marry. Let this relationship not work. Let it not work. Even though it remains a minute for me to go to the altar with the person, let it not work. I am that concerned. I am that desperate. I am that desperate at getting it right. So when he came into my life, there was peace. I wasn't feeling like he's not the one. So I wasn't feeling like, okay, it was just peace. There was peace all around. Of course, there is this anxiety too. I will not lie to you. There's this anxiety. Okay, how will marriage look like? But there was peace. It was peaceful. It was peaceful, and I thank God for the journey so far. Is already 5 years. To be 5 years by March, by next month, by the grace of God. We have learned, we have grown, we are still growing together, and God has been helping us. I just hope this few points I share helps you to make decision, the decisions regarding the spouse that God is going to send your way. And I pray the Lord is going to uphold you and grant you a man or a woman after his own heart, the right person for you in the name of Jesus. So thank you for watching this video. If it has blessed you, please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you have not yet done so. And do me the honor of sharing this video too. Share to your family and friends. And as you do so, you are blessed in Jesus' name. I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye for now.